Hi, this is Riley Clemens interviewing Emiliano for my capstone project. And then just say your name, age, and grade again.
Yeah, I'm Emiliano Sanchez, 18 years old, 12th grade.
Alright, cool. Okay, so first of all, do you believe that rape culture exists?
Do I believe it exists?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Okay, what does it mean to you?
Well, for me, it'd be a society that normalizes or just sees rape as an okay thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't personally believe that we live in a rape culture, but I do believe that it does exist
Okay.
in places.
Okay. Why don't you believe that we live in a rape culture society?
Well, it's just the thing of, well, you ask almost anybody you ask them about rape, it's a terrible thing. It's not a good thing. So I just think that it shows our society doesn't think it's okay. Although there are some cases where, some, like a rapist gets off with an easy charge, and that's not a good thing. But I just look at society's reaction, and most people are outraged about that.
Right.
So I think that shows that we don't live in a culture that thinks it's okay just because of our reaction to charge.
Right. So, do you believe that rape culture can be like other things, like just the fact that as a society as a whole we kind of look at the victims and what they did wrong as opposed to what the assaulter or perpetrator did wrong? Do you believe that that's kind of a true statement in our society, that we look at the victim more than we look at who's doing like the wrong deed or whatever it may be?
I think it depends on who you ask. But blaming the victim obviously isn't the right thing to do. I do believe that anybody should obviously be prepared to keep themselves safe, because there are bad people out there no matter what. But I'm not sure exactly how much we focus on blaming the victim or not, because I know a lot of people say, oh, well, you shouldn't, dress like that.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's not their fault. I do believe people should be aware of the dangers, but I don't think it is their fault just because, where they were, what they were dressed like.
Alright, cool. So how do you believe rape culture affects the high school environment? Say, like, just purely the consent part of it and the fact that some people do victim blame. Do you think that that plays a role in the high school environment and how not just boys, I guess, approaching girls in high school, but still vice versa, girls approaching boys in high school? Do you think that it affects the way that we interact with each other, or do you think that it's just not a factor at all?
Well, obviously, I haven't noticed much of, like rape or anything in high school, but there are, a lot of guys catcalling or whatever, which I don't like.
Right.
And, I'm sure the girls don't like it either.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, I think a lot of these boys, they're immature, and they don't necessarily realize what they're doing, or they think it's okay, or they don't really care.
Right.
But as far as rape goes, I'm not sure if it has
any effect on high school.
Not that I know.
No, that's fair enough. So, going along with that, do you believe that the lack of sex education in high school kind of maintains or sustains that, I guess, ignorance to the fact that someone may be doing something wrong, like catcalling or guys talking to girls in a derogatory way? They think that that's normal. Do you think that if there was more sex education in high school that would change, or do you think it wouldn't have any effect on the way that, not specifically guys to girls, but just in general how high school students interact with each other?
Well, I think we have enough sex ed in school.
Yeah.
Disease-wise, you have to be safe, and obviously kids learn from other kids and their parents, and these days we have internet, so I think with that, that way they have enough information in terms of that. It's just, I think it's more just their immaturity and their social skills of what they think is okay, what they think is normal, and teaching kids, this is an okay thing, this is not an okay thing to do from a young age. You would have to obviously start at a young age.
Right.
If you were to start in high school, either some of them would agree or some of them wouldn't care.
Right. Because at that point, people are already kind of set in who they're going to be.
They should hopefully mature outside of high school, but now they're just.
So then, going off of that, do you believe that it's an individual mindset that needs to be changed, or a societal mindset that needs to change? If it is just these boys or girls or whoever, doing something wrong, or if it is just immaturity, would it just be an individual mindset that needs to be changed, or society?
It's going to be a tough one to pinpoint because it's certain individuals, but
Right.
It's a lot. There's a lot of them, but
There's
it's
a lot of
obviously-
underlying stuff like that. I think that everyone kind of has that either internalized misogyny or just as a society we've kind of learned a lot of these things are okay because people getting arrested for rape but then getting off on easy charges, that kind of shows that hey, maybe I could get away with something like this, that type of I guess mindset that some people have. But as a society, we as a whole kind of a lot of people think that that's okay as too, it's people change, or that kind of idea that it's the individual that needs to change, or is it the society that's teaching these individuals that it's okay? Where would it be? Or do you think it is just the individual, because it is really just certain people that are taking it too far? So do you think as a society it would be more effective to change them, or would it have to be an individual? If we as a society kind of condemned them for their actions more than we have been, do you think that would be more effective? Or if it was just the individual realizing, hey, this isn't okay, I need to change?
I would think maybe, I don't know, those individuals.
You can say both if you want to, because it is kind of a combination of both of them.
The thing is, it's hard to say because there are a lot of people who think it's okay, although they're not the majority. There's a good amount of them, and the rest of society doesn't like it or doesn't think it's okay, but they're the kind of people who don't really care, and that's the thing. So it would probably have to rely on them as individuals and themselves, but there's other people seeing people getting away with rape or I don't know, catcalling, anything like that, and they see that as it's okay. Although even if most of society doesn't think it's okay, it's
that
the bad people that fuel other bad people. And
I mean, you're not going to change a criminal if they don't want to change themselves.
If they know what they're doing is wrong and they don't care, then it's up to them as an individual, because society's already told them it's wrong and they can't do anything.
Okay. Then I guess going along with that, if students coming out of high school understood sex more and were educated on it more, we had to take a sex education class instead of just that 3 days that we sat in the gym and watched them talk about STDs the whole time. Do you think that would help sort of deter rape in not in high school, but in college, where, if we don't have a good sex education in high school, then we don't know what we're doing in college, where people typically start to be more sexual or go into their sexual identity and things like that, where you really get to experience for yourself what it's like. Do you think that if there were consent courses or consent assemblies or more sex education in general, would it affect how often rape occurs in college? Or do you think, again, it's just those individuals that think that it's okay, and no matter what you're going to do, they're not going to change their mind because they're rapists or they're criminals or they're murderers? That's just who they are, and they need to go to jail or have serious consequences in order to see the effects of their actions? Or is it just something hey, consent is a thing that exists, and you should be participating in that more when you are, participating in sexual activities with other people? Do you think that would help at all, or do you think it just wouldn't affect moving forward at all?
I think it would definitely help them go into college more aware of how to take care of themselves, how to keep themselves safe, and just more informed. But as far as consent classes goes, I think I'm not sure how much that would help, simply because these people, I'm not saying they can't change, I'm not saying we can't change it, I don't know if a class would really make them change their mind on their morals.
If they're already so dead set.
They are bad people, and you can't you can't just put some sort of carnivore through a class of vegetarianism.
And expect them to change
again,
just
I'm
from
not saying they're mindset animals. They're just
but it's education isn't always the thing that's going to change people. Sometimes it is blunt consequences or actions against them. Okay, what else did I have? Okay, so you kind of defined rape culture as just the normalization of rape, just the action of rape. The, I guess, textbook definition of rape culture is everything that kind of encompasses that afterwards. So, like, the fact that when a girl or a guy or whoever gets raped and then they go to the cops are always asking, you know, what were you wearing? Were you drunk? Were you, you know, was the victim doing something wrong that provoked someone else, rather than asking, why did this person do this in the first place? Do you think that's like a valid definition, or do you still think that rape culture is kind of just a society that normalizes rape and, I guess, I don't really know how to say it, but kind of someone that, does like a culture like many Middle Eastern countries that normalize the abuse of women, and like that's just a fact of life to them. Do you think that's rape culture, or do you think it's fair to say that kind of that victim blaming and everything that encompasses that's part of rape culture as well?
Well, I would say, like, in some Middle Eastern countries, that's definitely a rape culture. Like, here, as far as, like, police asking what they were wearing, I don't think that should really matter.
Right.
Asking them if they're drunk or not, that's more just trying to gather information. Again,
right.
It wouldn't be the victim's fault even if they were, of course, but I think they should try to gather information as to what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they were drugged, if they were drunk, or what the other person looked like, what happened. But I don't think they should blame them for what they were wearing.
Right.
It
doesn't make sense, really. Yeah.
I think most of our society still doesn't like victim blaming, whether police sometimes might do it. I don't think that's our culture as a whole, but it is a problem in our culture.
Do you think that the fact that you are male has any influence on how you view rape culture in general?
I wouldn't know. I would hope not. But
right. Yeah. Of course.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so, at least at this point. And I don't think, if I was a girl, I would be changed unless I, either as a male or female, was somehow affected by
it directly,
in
right?
any way. And I know females are statistically more likely.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that I haven't been affected by it, I just know information.
Right.
She said, no, I'm not finished my day. I don't care about this.
Okay.
Hey, I don't care about this.
Do you think there's anything that, like, teachers could do to, like, teachers in high school, like, not specifically at our school, but in general, where maybe a school that has more instances of rape or sexual assault happening to girls or guys, or somewhere where the dress code is more strict than maybe our school? Because our school has a pretty standard, pretty reasonable dress code, but you can see posts on social media where girls wearing shorts that are obviously an appropriate length, they're getting sent home or they're getting pulled out of class. Do you think that it would help at all in instances like that, at schools like that, where it's a little bit more severe? Do you think that teachers could do anything, or do you think, like, it's a student sort of driven, I guess, action that needs to be taken? You know, students need to stand up against this in order to make a change. Do you think teachers could help at all, or teachers could maybe seeing boys catcall at girls at school? Do you think that them stepping in and saying, hey, that's not okay, since they are adults and they are kind of the people we look up to, do you think that would help at all, or do you think it's kind of the students or society or those individuals that need to cause a change?
I do think teachers stepping in would help a little bit, as far as catcalling or anybody disrespecting someone else in that way. If they were to step in with like a lot of force or authority and just tell them to stop over and over again, stepping down on that, it would obviously reduce that in the school and hopefully influence the activity outside of school.
Right.
But I think it's mostly student driven. And as far as dress code, I think it's not so much from a fear of rape at school, or inappropriate, like this is a learning place, things like that. So, I do believe
teachers. So we're living life.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I had.
All right.
So thank you for listening.